Hi, I'm Jasper Pattendon at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to Wycombe Sound.
The Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. On this week's programme, we'll hear from Phil with our match debrief, who's recovered in time from his kidney stones, to chat us through what happened at Forest Green Rovers last Saturday. A fantastic 2-0 win. Also, we'll look ahead to the trip to Cheltenham. We'll hear from manager Gareth Ainsworth, both after the game at Forest Green and also speaking to the media this morning. Also coming up between now and the end of the show, we'll be catching up with Geoff Anthony, an ex-Wycombe Wanderers winger who played for Wales, and keeping up with the alliteration, a proud member of the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, on the eve of their dinner at Adams Park tomorrow. Unfortunately, he's not able to make it owing to the fact that he's in Massachusetts. More on that later. Also, we go behind the scenes at the club. We'll catch up with Head of Media Matt Cecil. We'll say goodbye to Ryan, who leaves the club tomorrow after working on their digital content for the past sort of 16 months or so. And we'll hear from Amy as well, a new addition to the team who's working in the marketing department. And we'll get the latest on the Chair Girls as well. Wycombe Wanderers Women have been in action and they've made a new signing as well. All that and more on the way in the next hour. But first, let's give you some match highlights from Saturday.
Welcome to the new lawn here in the village of Nailsworth, Gloucestershire. Home to Forest Green Rovers, League 2 champions last season, taking on Wycombe Wanderers. It comes out from Jacobson, decent delivery, keeper comes to punch, does well. Goes as far as Nick Freeman, who puts the ball back out to Jacobson, who volleys it back into the box. It's an up and under to test the keeper, who punches once more. Freeman on the volley, charged down, decent effort. Everyone was back for Forest Green there, defending that succession of set pieces. Now Grimmer to McCleary, right hand side. McCleary up against Boys, goes past Boys, he's inside the box. Still going McCleary, pokes it towards goal, drops to Scowen, tries to chip it over the big line of defenders in front of him, and it hits the diving body of Casey and goes out for a corner. 2 corners apiece now. 13 minutes played here at the New Lawn, 0-0 the score, but this is a decent game, Toby.
This is a really decent game. Gareth McCleary, I tell you what, he looks like he's got the beating of his man so far. He's been jinking his way past Boys and past Bernard on that right hand side.
The last one was punched down.
Get a card for being outside of your
box in there, and it's punched clear. Ball comes in and it's there. David Wheeler, third of the season. The cross came in, it wasn't punched clear. And David Wheeler snaps onto the half volley into the roof of the net. And Wycombe have the lead 1-0, and Gareth Ainsworth has indeed got back in his box, but with a goal in his pocket. They lose the ball in midfield now to Wheeler, and now Mehmeti's away. Mehmeti's bearing down on the penalty area, goes on the outside of one, it's a narrow angle, cuts it back, oh, it's just behind Sam Vokes. So close to Wycombe Wanderers making Forest Green pay heavily for that. And that continues as Mehmeti breezes past him, puts it into the box, it drops to McCleary on the edge. Grimmer's given him McCleary the option. McCleary though goes for goal. Oh my God! Gareth McCleary rolling back the Premier League years there for the Chairboys. He looked up the outside of the right foot, and even the Forest Green fans are applauding that one. Just dinks it in with a delicious bit of goal into the top corner. It's Forest Green 0, Wycombe 2.
Gareth McCleary, that is stupendous. What on earth have you just done? The absolute audacity to even try a strike like that is just superb. And wow.
Jack Grimmer though, bursting through. Jack Grimmer goes for goal, beaten away by the keeper. Wheeler, shot charged down again. Jack Grimmer there, nearly cutting through the entire Forest Green back line. Wycombe come again with Jacobson. They fancy more here. Cross goes to the back post over the head of Wheeler. Jack Grimmer cut him open. Decent save by the keeper, and then Wheeler on the follow-up as well. There's more goals here, Toby.
There really are. That run from Jack Grimmer he's not the man that you expect to see running through the opposition defence, but he carved them open magnificently and couldn't quite find the finish. But
Freeman, lovely little classy little move and ball to McCleary, who lays it infield to Wheeler. Wheeler on the run, lovely pass to Mehmeti. Mehmeti's inside the box, goes for goal. Oh, whistles it past the post. And Wycombe Wanderers there going through the gears, and Mehmeti nearly driving home a third. And it goes from the corner. Wycombe gets up, heads it into the air. It's a scramble. It's cleared away by Nick Freeman. And the referee blows his whistle. Bang on 9 minutes, sir. Well done. All right, Wycombe Wanderers then back to winning ways in League One. Goals in the first half from David Wheeler and a glorious goal by Gareth McCleary. Sealed the points.
Yeah, defensively so solid, I think, having Taff and Alfie back in the league playing together. I think that 90 minutes, even though it didn't go as well as we hoped last week at Walsall, has really helped them to kind of stick together. And yeah, what a defensive performance, and all over the pitch everybody was so good, from Vauxhall up front to, you know, Taff and Alfie at the back, JJ coming into the team, Grimmer coming into the team. It was such a sturdy performance from Wycombe in that second half. Although it wasn't, you know, a classic half from Wycombe, it was still really well done and professionally seen out even, sorry. And yeah, David Wheeler, my man of the match today, was just superb.
Full-time score here at the New Lawn. Forest Green Rovers 0, Wycombe Wanderers 2.
Some great highlights from Saturday, brought to you by our match commentator here on Wycombe Sound and Wanderers TV as well, and of course the club's head of audio and broadcast and the host of Ringing the Blues, the fantastic podcast too, Phil Catchpole, who is with us this week too, and can reflect on what was a very eventful game with plenty of positives.
Yeah, a really good away victory. I mean, Forest Green, I think League One this year is so competitive, even though they were down the bottom and the defeat sent them bottom of the table. There is, to use the cliche, no easy game in this division, but I thought it was a very professional performance by Wycombe, and the early goal helped to settle them down as well. Great strike by David Wheeler. I want to claim an assist because we got him on the pre-match show last week just to talk him up, and he delivered. Left foot as well on the half volley. But yeah, once that went in, he felt sort of confident. And Forest Green, I don't think they've quite got their system worked out yet with how they're playing, and I thought Wycombe had really done their homework on them and exploited the gaps behind the wing-backs really, really well. Because with the three at the back system that Forest Green had in there, I think I called it on the commentary, they looked like a sort of a team of Ray Wilkinses just passing the ball sideways. So when Wycombe were able to overturn possession, they immediately hit the long diagonal to get the space behind for Alice Vermetti and Gareth McCleary. And they had a real field day in the first half. Alice Vermetti gave his wing-back a real torrid time. And then Gareth McCleary, wow, what a goal that was. I mean, he came in field to get it, and then really intelligent run by Jack Grimmer to kind of take the man away and provide the spaces to drop his shoulder and cut in. But yeah, outside of the boot, top corner, keeper, I think his shoulders shrugged as soon as the ball went in because that was hit, because I think he knew it was going in. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful goal by Gareth McCleary, and a really good performance all round from Wycombe. It was one of those really good days, Colin, where everybody put a decent shift in, I think.
And something else which really stood out in the match highlights as well is the contribution of back in the box man, because you were able to respond to him as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's often when you're away from home, the press box and the commentary area, you're normally surrounded by home fans, which is always entertaining, especially if Wycombe are putting the goals in, and I'm getting excited, and you're getting a few people having a look at you thinking, who's this? And I'm thinking, am I going to be able to get out of here okay? But Forest Green was a wonderful club, very friendly. And yeah, that guy was sat, I think, one row in front of us and was clearly audible. It was just one of those brilliantly comical moments, wasn't it? Because, you know, he was very irate about this very small detail of the game. And then Wycombe instantly scored. So yeah, it was wonderful, really. Didn't hear much from him after that, to be honest. I don't know if he disappeared.
He was a bit quiet.
But there was a guy that was sat next to him who gave me a Kit Kat chunky at half time. So, you know, what a day.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think you'll be rating your away days on that sort of service now as well.
He agreed with my half-time summation of Forest Green, I think. He listened to our report that was live on Wycombe Sound, and he agreed wholeheartedly with what I had to say about Forest Green. And my reward was a Kit Kat. So I'm hoping for similar things at Cheltenham on Saturday.
Phil open to receiving confectionery at the break.
Absolutely. I mean, all offers welcome. The other great thing about, or say great, it's difficult to call it great in the context, but there was a horrific challenge on Josh Scowen in the second half. But what I loved about that was the response from Wycombe Wanderers, because there's been sort of question marks over the spirit and the fight of Wycombe in recent weeks by the fans and also from Gareth Ainsworth after the defeat to Walsall. But the reaction to Josh being tackled badly was there for all to see. Jack Grimmer, Joe Jacobson leading the charge. Joe Jacobson got himself into a bit of hot water, and indeed both sides have been disciplined by the FA. But what I did like was the reaction from Wycombe, the fight and the heart that was shown. Obviously, they might have taken it a bit far on this occasion, but it was good to see that fire was burning in there. because that was really the cornerstone of Wycombe's success under the Ainsworth era. And it was concerning, I think, that may have been put out, but it was good to see that was back on Saturday. And as well as all the goals we've spoken about, that was mentioned in the post-match as well with Gareth.
Yeah, really pleased. We put a plan in place. We worked on it all week. I said, give us a full week to work on things, and we get some good plans in place. And I think you saw those plans in that first half. I thought we blew Forest Green away in the first half. I thought it could have been 3 goals, 3 or 4 even. We had chances after chances, goal line scrambles. We knew they'd come at us second half, and they've had a couple of goal line scrambles. I'm not going to take anything away from them, but we could have caught them on the break again so many times second half. I was pleased with the result because we deserved that, the way we played, the energy the boys showed. I was up for this one today, and vocally I hope people could hear that, because I never stop shouting. I've done my throat in here, but I wanted them to press. I wanted them to put it on Forest Green, and they really did in that first half, and they deserved the 2 goals. I mean, Gareth is a sublime finish. What a fantastic finish that is. That's why he's Gareth McCleary. That's why he's so highly regarded. And Wheels, brilliant, always solid for me, deserves his goal. But Josh Scowen coming back was big for us. I've always said that. The best players coming back in the right positions. And I got people like, Wingy on the bench, and Sully and Daz, and people like, it's McCarthy, Obita, real strong people. Brandon Hanlon could have come on at any time. So the squad now is taking shape how I wanted it. Still with Gape, Farino and Thompson, there's a 3 there. Damani Mellor missed out. And so we're really pushing now, that squad. And I always said, just stay patient. I think we're 3 points off 5th at the moment, which is brilliant to say. And it feels like it's been a poor season, but we're in such a healthy position in League One. I've had a text from Rob saying well done to the players and well done yourself. Good week, and I'm looking forward to next week now.
Second half got a little bit heated, but we saw Wycombe's fighting spirit at times, didn't we?
Yeah, I've got to say that the discipline on us, I've got to pull the boys up. It just spilled over a little bit, and I didn't want anyone to get sent off stupidly. But when I've re-seen that tackle on Josh Scowen, wow, that's a nasty tackle. It's a really naughty tackle. So I can see why the boys have got frustrated with that. It's a real nasty one. It's really high, and it probably warrants a sending off. In the Premier League VAR, that's a sending off. But then probably Joel Jacobson grabbing someone on the neck's a sending off as well. So VAR is not in this level, and the referees probably handled it in the right way and diffused a lot. But it could have got out of hand second half, and I was just disappointed that at times we lost a little bit of our cool. But so did the opposition, and we've got to say this is football. It's full-blooded game, here, and the commitment that the boys have shown today is fantastic. I'm very, very proud of him. And can I just say the fans, the majority are always with us, and they were brilliant today. We've really provided some entertainment for them today. I'm so glad they came in numbers, because we needed them. I'm not going to say we never need you. We need you all the time. We couldn't do it without you. I'm hoping you're at Cheltenham next week as well, because back-to-back wins away from home would be great. I think that's 1 defeat in 7 now in the league. For some reason it felt worse, but I'm really proud of where we are. We're a fighting team. We're a very small club in this division, believe me, but Wycombe Wanderers is in and around all the big boys, and that's brilliant to look at that league table and see, Wycombe are there again. Awesome.
I'm sure they will be at Cheltenham, the fans, and they will also be hoping that Josh Scowen will be there as well. They were very excited to see him back in the starting lineup today. It's a huge bonus for Wycombe to get him back now.
Listen, Josh was our player of the year last year, and he really is at home at this place. I play him in this position that I think works on his strengths and gives him the opportunity to be who he wants to be on that pitch. And I say we're very lucky to have Josh. But the other midfielders, Nick, Wheels, Wingy, Gapey, Tomo, we've got some quality midfielders at this club who some have filled in, some deserve to just slot in there, and my headache's now picking the best ones, because or the ones that are right for the games. But no, I'm really proud of the result today. I thought it was a test. It's a bit of pressure, because, like I said before the game, it felt a little bit like we were on a bad run, even though it's only 1 defeat in 6. The FA Cup didn't help. And then you come away to Forest Green, where everyone goes bottom of the table, you've got to beat them. if we don't, what happens? It looks like an absolute, disaster. But boys have come through for me. I'll always be there for them, and I'm proud of the result today.
Really good to hear their manager speaking, obviously so positively about so many positives to have from that game. But obviously he's always very positive anyway. But I'm sure it's a great reward, and having Josh back as well seemed to be a real boost for the side.
Yeah, just when the teams were announced, you could almost hear the travelling away fans on the other side. There was a sort of not a cheer, because it was before the game. Everyone was getting stuck into their vegan food and tea with soy milk. But when Josh Scowen, when his name was read out, it was a great thing to hear and a real lift for everybody, because they know what an important player he is to the side. Player of the season last year. I think he scooped every award last season. He was that good. And after a fairly long break off, he went back into it. Didn't look that rusty at all. Sort of picked up where he's left off, really, and got stuck in. And that was great to see. And he really protects that Wycombe on Saturday, a back four. Just gives them that extra bit of protection as well. But we all talk about his ratting ability and his tackling and level, but he's a decent player as well, and he can pick a pass. Really important that we got him back, especially with Curtis Thompson being a long-term absence and Dominic Gate being out as well. Having all three out at the same time is quite hard to deal with. So to have Josh back is huge, and long may his run in the side continue.
And a trip to Cheltenham on Saturday, of course, another side sort of down the wrong end of the table, but they'll provide a number of challenges and hopefully a selection box for you as well. Well,
yeah, I mean, if they can, a kick out, I mean, I'm not fussy really. Anything in that area would be great. But Cheltenham, it's goal fest, isn't it? Down the years, there's been a few 3-3s. There was the 5-5 at Adams Park last season. Wycombe won their 3-1 last season, very early on in the season. Sam Vokes getting his first goal in a Wycombe shirt. So it looks to be a goal fest on the cards, possibly. Alfie May was the guy that scored 4 times at Adams Park in that 5-5 draw. He's been injured and they've been easing him back in, although he wasn't in the squad against Ipswich last week because he came off the bench in the FA Cup game against Alvechurch. A shock defeat for Cheltenham as well. But they followed that up with a fantastic 1-1 draw at Portman Road. But Alfie May didn't feature in the squad that day, so whether he's had a recurrence or whether they're sort of edging him back in slowly, we'll see. So my hunch is that if he is involved, he may be on the bench. But a bit like what I said when Josh Scowen's name was on the team sheet, if Wycombe fans see Alfie May starting on Saturday, they may be a little fearful after what he did to them last season.
It's been a real pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best with your own recovery as well. Hopefully you'll be match fit for Saturday after your kidney stones this week.
Well, as you know, we don't do injury news here at Wycombe Wanderers, so I will say that I'm 50-50, but close, in the words of Gareth Ainsworth.
Great to have Phil on the show, as always, and a reminder, you can catch the full interview with Gareth, plus a chat with Gareth McCleary on Wanderers TV in full.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show, more from manager Gareth Ainsworth. We'll hear from behind the scenes at the club as well, from the head of media, Matt Cecil, Ryan, who's leaving, and Amy, who's just arrived. We'll catch up with more as well on Wycombe Wanderers Women, find out how the chair girls are doing. All that and more on the eve of the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association's annual dinner, which is back after a couple of years' absence due to the COVID pandemic, of course. One man who often makes the journey from his now home in Massachusetts, where he moved to the USA in 1986, is Geoff Anthony. He was a winger at Lokes Park in the late 60s, early 70s, played for Wales as well. As they normally makes the trip, but unfortunately not able to this year.
I am really disappointed. I made probably 6 or 7 of the dinners before COVID interrupted, and obviously then there was a hiatus, and I was hoping to be able to go back, and I went over in April because initially they were planning to hold one in April, so I went over and it was cancelled, and I can't afford to come over again, so hopefully it'll be next year.
No, fantastic. I mean, fans will be so pleased to hear from you and hear that you're well. How is your life in Massachusetts?
Life's good, getting ready for the World Cup, and I'm obviously retired, so life's pretty good.
Oh, so if we could, it'd be great to sort of take you back to your earliest memories of your first time at Wycombe.
I'd never heard of Wycombe, and I was at training college in Leeds and Carnegie, and Howard Wells, who later actually coached Wycombe. was on the same team, and he said, "Have you ever heard of Wycombe Wanderers?" I said, "No," because I was from Swansea, so I didn't know anything about the Isthmian League. And he said, "Oh, try and get a teaching job there." So I eventually got a teaching job in Chesham, at Chesham High School, and was invited by Wycombe to join them, and that was the beginning. And I remember my first game at Lokes Park. I didn't score many goals, but I remember I scored in my first game against Clapton. So that was my earliest memory, fond memory.
So I understand you had two very eventful spells at the club. That must have been a great sort of time to be involved, sort of late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, we had some great players, and I think was it twice we won the Isthmian League, I think, and I clearly remember the Anglo-Italian Cup we won. So they were exciting days, and great players and good friends.
And what was it like playing under Brian Lee?
It was very different from me, because when I'd played before, it was we never really was coached. You just turned up at the appointed time and played. For Brian, I really enjoyed the training. It was so well organized, and he was a really good had a really good understanding of the character of players. And I think often when he brought players to Wycombe, it was often based upon his assessment of their character, and of course their playing ability. But I think he put a great store by character. And
how did you sort of combine, if you like, your life as a teacher with playing football? Did that work well?
Yeah, it was frenetic at times, because, as I said, I was teaching in Chesham. I actually lived in Homer Green, so I was close to Wycombe. But sometimes, it was, you got home from work about 5 and you had a 7 o'clock game or 7:30 game, and I used to try and take like a 30-minute nap, before going to the games, especially if you were traveling as well. Sometimes it was hectic midweek, but it was a great combination. I was playing the sport I loved, and I was teaching, which I always enjoyed.
And it was around that time you got to represent your country, which must have been a real honour as well.
Yeah, I'm still very much Welsh, so I'll be watching them against the United States on Monday. Yeah, I'm very, very patriotic. I think I played 13 times for Wales, which, spanned for 5-6 years, because we only ever played 2 or 3 games a year. And I always relished playing against England, because, I played against Wycombe players on my team, so, Peter Sederby and Julian Laley. I played against Ray Eaton, John Delaney, so all Wycombe players, and I was playing against them, so that was always challenging.
And Wycombe obviously still has a very special place in your heart. What would you say that makes the club so special to you?
Do you know, a lot of it? I mean, I just, the people there were so exceptional, and not just the players, but the staff and the bar staff. I remember in the old clubhouse, I have real fond memories of Jock Shepherd, who was the groundsman there, who looked after me really when I first came to Wycombe. He took me to the theatre in Windsor, and just some wonderful people who I've lost contact with, most of them, but occasionally I have contact with John Bignell, Peter Sederby, because I was at university with Peter as well, one of the best players I've ever played with. So we have occasional contact. But it was just the atmosphere. And then I think what accentuated it was the Wycombe Wanderers Past Players organisation. And I got an email from them years ago now. And, I look forward, Colin, so much to their emails, the newsletters. Sometimes the news is sad news, when you think of, people now in their 70s and 80s. But it's a wonderful newsletter, and people like Vince Faulkner and John Taylor, Alan Hutchison, you just feel as though you're part of a, like a thriving community, and they don't forget you. And that means a lot to me, being so far away. I just feel very close to them.
And that must be very reminiscent of the camaraderie that you had in the dressing room with the players that you played with as well.
Very much so. And, some of them several of them Paul Birdseye and Howard Kennedy, who tragically died, of course, I played cricket with as well at Woburn. So we were always pretty close. And I remember Barry Baker in the early days, we were friendly, and a lot of wonderful people. And of course, Bodger, who I think he scored 600 goals more than I've scored in my career. So
you must look back very fondly as well. You've been to some other local clubs as well, of course, playing at Slough in the Amateur Cup final at Wembley. That must have been special. That
was special, yeah. 1973, and I remember we lost in the last minute. A goal by Kieran Summers of Walton, who was a great player. But my sons often ask me, "What do you remember about it?" And I don't remember much about the game, but I remember the first time ever I had a police escort to the game on the bus, which was really novel. And the changing rooms, they had a huge sunken bath and any number of showers, and after being used to Logs Park, that was quite a revelation.
It's fantastic as well, isn't it, to reflect on what football can bring, the experiences that you've had as a result of football.
Oh yeah, and traveling, we used to, we went to Jersey, but we went to Split in Yugoslavia, obviously the Anglo-Italian, we went to Milan, played Monza. There's so much traveling, went to Greece, and so much traveling with a team that I certainly would not have been if it hadn't been for Wycombe Wanderers. So it just opened up my world, I suppose.
And being a winger as well, that's obviously a position that, you can excite fans, you can take opposition players on.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And at Wycombe, Brian was very, very protective of me because I didn't strike the ball that well, as everyone knows. So I used to play the top of the slope, both halves. so I could get my crosses in,
I was going to say,
never got them in from the bottom of the hill.
I was going to say, with a slope, being a winger, you must have a favourite side.
Oh yeah, the top of the hill, yeah. It was such a slope. I mean, when you think about it now, it was incredible. Did you ever, Colin? Did you ever see? Oh no, of course it's all the hospital now, isn't it? Did you ever see the old field?
Yes. No, I went there a few times. I think my very first game was probably 84, I think it was. I saw Barnet and Kettering. I saw a few games there.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Quite a slope.
I was going to say, as a winger especially, other positions, I guess, not affected quite so much.
It was a real advantage being, when you played at the top of the slope, you can really attack the full back. So it was a real advantage. So
do you get much time to come back now? Or, as you say, you were here quite recently in April.
Until COVID, I was coming back once a year. And I always timed it with the past players' dinner. So I'd spend about a week in the Wycombe area. I have friends from cricket who I stay with, a couple of former teaching colleagues I stay with. And my sister lives in Brighton. So then I would go to Brighton for a week. I come over every year, so I'm hoping to resume that, Colin, next November. I hope to be over for that, health permitting.
No, that'd be excellent. It'd be great to meet you then. I'm sure many people will be listening who will be attending the dinner. What would be your message to them?
I wish I was with you, and I know they'll have a great time. It's always a great occasion, and I'm sure they'll have a great time, and I'll be thinking of you, and I hope to be there in 2023.
You must be hugely impressed with when they got to the championship as well.
Oh, fantastic. And even played my Swansea Town. I have a Swansea Town live television presentation. I watch Swansea every week, and the next thing I do is check the results, and I don't even look at the Premier. I go straight to the Wycombe result every week, check that first. And I did actually, when I was over last April, I did see them defeat Milton Keynes in the playoff.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, you picked a good time to come.
Yeah, that was that was the consolation of missing the dinner. I did see that, and then I watched the away game on the television. So that was great, and disappointingly then losing to Sunderland. And I had that over here. It was on the US television. I have a lot of sports channels, so I saw that final game from Wembley.
Well, do enjoy the game on Monday as well. It must be very, very strange to be a Welshman living in America watching the two teams play.
It is, yeah. I've got my Welsh flag on my door, just to upset the neighbours, and I have three sons who actually have remained loyal to Wales, even though they were all born in the United States. But I've managed to brainwash them, Colin. So they'll be cheering for Wales.
Oh, it's been brilliant to speak to you and to share your memories. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
And you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Really enjoyed speaking to Geoff and sharing his memories, as we say, and looking forward to attending the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association dinner tomorrow at Adams Park. Must give a special mention to Wycombe Wanderers Women, the Chairgirls in action on Sunday. Unfortunately, a 4-3 defeat, but a valiant effort came back to 4-3 was the final score against Oxford City. That was at home at Burnham. Special mention for a new signing who made her first start and got her first goal as well. That's Sophie Atfield. Congratulations to her. And also a special mention as well for the performance of Sally Grimm, who got the Player of the Match award as well for her goal and assist as well, and her full debut for this season as well. Not bad at all. Next in action for the Chairgirls this coming Sunday, the first team are away to Abingdon. Obviously wish them all the best with that. Still to come on the Wycombe Wanderers Show, more from Gareth Ainsworth, and as I say, behind the scenes look at the media team as well, here at Wycombe Sound.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Final part of the Wycombe Wanderers Show for this week. Still to come, we'll get the manager Gareth Ainsworth's thoughts on, among other things, the World Cup, and also a brilliant talk which he's been giving to some healthcare professionals at Buckinghamshire Healthcare NHS Trust this week. But first, we go behind the scenes at the club. We'll hear from Head of Media Matt Cecil in a few moments' time as well. A new marketing executive at the club, Amy Allgood. But first, we'd speak to Ryan Pelletrat, who you might know, or you might not, has been at the club for quite a while working on some digital content. Here's the story about how he arrived at Adams Park and what he's done in the time there.
I kind of came straight out of university working at Cheltenham Town to begin with, and then the lovely Matt Cecil plucked me out the sky and then put me into a role at Wycombe, and yeah, I've just been given completely free license to roam and do not necessarily what I want, but like just have my creative freedom and kind of build a brand for Wycombe that like kind of looks fresh and clean and professional. And on the video side, being able to film matches pitch side, film interviews, collate footage for features, like just it's all a bit mad when you think about it, the amount I do. But it's been a whirlwind of a ride, and I wouldn't change any of it for a minute, really.
So when you describe it, it sounds like there should be a team of people doing that, but it's literally...
I mean, when I go to Bournemouth, there will be a team of people doing that. Just little on me shouldering the weight of about 3 people, but no, it's the best way to kind of start my career, I think. You got to throw yourself into the deep end and take on as much as you can, so you can figure out what you can and can't do, figure out a different avenue to go down further in your career. But yeah, I've absolutely loved it, and it's going to be absolutely gutting to see these, well, not to see these guys anymore, so should I say.
Matt, when you plucked Ryan from the sky, apparently, which is you must be so proud from sort of then to now as to what he's produced.
Yeah, very much so. I think when I returned to this role 9 years ago, because I've pretty much always been around Wycombe Wanderers, but it was just me really for 2 and a bit years, and certainly wanted to grow the department, and we've seen some very talented people come and go down the years, and I kind of knew what I wanted. This was coming out of the championship year, a pandemic year, everything had been stripped back, and really, our content and output really suffered as a result during the pandemic because we were such a small operation, and I think the absence of fans as well just meant games all of a sudden were now being seen more through TV screens and social media screens rather than being real in-person events, and I'm not sure we really did it justice that year with what we were were contributing and putting out there. So I'd been really impressed. I spend a lot of time on social media outside of work as well, but I'd been really impressed by what I'd seen from Cheltenham Town. They'd had a great year. They'd won the League 2 title, phenomenal output, and it was as simple as asking them, I know you've got a team of students there, who's your best one? And Ryan was the name put forward, and lo and behold, Ryan was then through the door and has had a phenomenal 18 months, filming at the Etihad Stadium, at Wembley Stadium, really being part of the heartbeat of the club. And we ride this journey together. We see more of each other than I see of my wife and kid. We're up and down the country at service stations, and the highs and the lows, and you want not only a really talented companion alongside you, but a good friend as well, and that's what Ryan's become. So it's been awesome to have this team, and obviously Phil coming on board. It's been a wonderful team, and it's sad to see Ryan go, but this is a club that gives people opportunities and is proud when they rise up the ladder, whether it's as a player or a staff member, and it'll be a huge asset to Bournemouth.
And Ryan, you must have some real highlights during your time at the club. It feels like such it's easy to say, I guess, but a special time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've heard Matt say a lot that this is a special time to be involved in Wycombe Wanderers, and that's absolutely true. From being the Championship, maybe unfairly dropped out, but the story of the rise again will only be better than what happened in the first place. So, I've loved every single minute of it. All the players, the staff at the training ground have been absolutely phenomenal with me. Just kind of like everyone here, just taking me under the wing and just treating me as a family member, like the family it is. And no doubt that this club is going to be in much better places in years to come. It's going to be flying the leagues. This is the start of something really, really big for Wycombe Wanderers.
And Matt, I know we've spoken before, but there does seem to be a real kind of increase in interest in the club, sort of not just locally, but even globally.
Yeah, and I think that's, we want to be the heartbeat of that. And I think, my frustration when it was just me all those years ago was we weren't doing it justice, really, to this wonderful club with a phenomenal manager. Akin Fenwer was through the door at that point. We had some really wonderful characters in the squad, Jacobson, Bloomfield, Paul Hayes, people like that. And we wanted to tell the story a little bit better. And obviously, we've seen the rise of social media and new media avenues that weren't available when I was first here as a work experience kid in 2005. The whole landscape has changed, and back then there was far more kind of priority put on the local newspapers and things like that. Clubs weren't able to produce their own content. From pretty much 2016 onwards, I think we've been one of the shining lights in the EFL for the quality that we've been able to put out through various members of staff, reaching, and it's crazy when you think about it. Millions of people every month are watching videos. There's been a shift this year with Wanderers TV, which is doing far better in terms of subscriber growth and revenue generation than we kind of forecast when we launched it. We want to tell the good messages of Wycombe Wanderers to as many people as possible in as many diverse ways as possible. And obviously, Ryan's output and Phil, has played a huge part in doing that.
And you brought Amy in as well to really help kind of enhance that interest, if that's the right word.
Yeah, I'll tee Amy up, and then we'll let Amy talk about Amy. But the club spins so many plates constantly, and with 25 home games a season plus all the away games that go on, it's a really fast-paced, ever-changing environment. You've got to keep on top of it, and what we lacked prior to Amy coming on board was just a bit of coordination, really, of not just fixture planning, but everything that goes on at the club: retail, commercial opportunities, hospitality. We've got a security and events team that go out and do such fantastic work across the local area that nobody really gets to hear about. We've got the foundation, which is recently relaunched, and they've got their own projects and things going on. There are so many ticketing opportunities and really everything that goes on away from a match day. As I say, it's fast-paced, it's easy to lose track of. Amy's come on board to coordinate all of that, to drive the business in so many different ways that aren't just football. And we've already seen some fantastic progress made on the use of Adams Park as a venue. There's no point having a stadium as good as we've got just 25 times a year. We want it in use 364 days a year. We'll give the chef a day off at Christmas. There's great progress on that, and Amy's been a fantastic addition to the team just 4 weeks in.
Amy, it sounds like you're going to be really busy, especially with your plate spinning. Hope your crockery control is good.
Yeah, I think it's just about showcasing what the club's about. All of the the venue itself, the rooms we have for weddings, parties, birthdays, meeting rooms, you name it. It's just about growing the club, but not just in the avenue of football, and also bringing in businesses for networking and things like that. We have our Dean Saunders event coming up. It's an evening with Dean Saunders in February, so that'll be really good. Local businesses coming in to network, hearing from Dean Saunders. It's just really exciting time to really show everyone what we have at Adams Park Stadium.
Because again, I guess many people, they only see the club on a match day and perhaps don't really realise what goes on, as I say, sort of behind the scenes. I came along to the business lunch recently, and all the executive boxes are being used for other events and stuff, and obviously there's the Caledonian Suite as well. Yeah.
So we had a wedding recently, and that was great. That looked amazing. They all seemed to have a great time. The executive boxes can be used for many things, from schools coming in to have a lesson to meetings and just dinners. We have Wilshaw, our chef. He's great, lovely meals he cooks, and our Woodlands Lounge, which is available on match days as well. VIP hospitality. Just a range of options at Adams Park.
Because even on a match day as well, there's so much that perhaps fans don't even really realise that they can get out of their day.
Yeah, there's lots of ticket options available, not just your normal match day ticket. From the Tunnel Club can definitely be used, the boardroom as well. Even celebrating your birthday at Adams Park on a match day, it's great. Seeing the players up close, having opportunities to have pictures pitch side, and really make the most out of your experience.
So certainly, pun intended, have you got any goals that you'd like to achieve during your time?
I definitely think just it'll be really exciting to see how much we can grow the club overall, over all of the different avenues. I think that's one of my goals, just to continue it growing, and be a part of that alongside the media and marketing team.
And Ryan, sort of looking back, is there anything you're especially proud of kind of what you've achieved as you leave the club?
I mean, there's been so many great moments. I mean, the night at MK will live long in the memory. One of the most surreal nights of my life. Just the nature of the game, it being so tense, and then the final whistle blows, and then it's like, wow, we're going to Wembley, and just seeing all the fans in the top tier of Stadium MK just singing and bouncing around. It was just unbelievable. I mean, the different projects I've been able to work on over my time here. I mean, being able to implement my kind of spin on a match highlight series throughout the season. I've been really proud to do that and create amazing footage from sitting on pitch side. Going to the Etihad, like Matt said earlier, that was something I didn't even think I'd be doing within 10 months, let alone like 4 or something like that. So just getting to go to these amazing stadiums around the country has just been crazy to think that I'll be doing it at 22 years old or 21 when I first started. Wembley as well. I mean, I can't come on here and not talk about Wembley. Unfortunately, not the day to be, but absolutely the most surreal day of my life. Just being able to walk around backstage at Wembley and even pitch side at Wembley and kind of see the whole place alive to watch football. Probably for the first time since the pandemic, in a kind of playoff sense. It's just insane. I will definitely look back on every minute I've had here with fondness, because I'm just grateful for every opportunity to be here in the first place, really.
Great to have Ryan, Amy and Matt on the show, of course, and we wish Ryan all the best with his new job at Bournemouth. Next, we hear from manager Gareth Ainsworth, who spoke to the media earlier on today. All sorts of things covered, including a brilliant inspirational chat which he gave to healthcare professionals at Buckinghamshire Healthcare NHS Trust and the club's foundation as well. But first, we talk about the boost last week's win must have brought to the training ground and can be taken into the trip to Cheltenham this week.
We put a good plan in place, and the players really executed it well. It's having Josh going back, I think, it's a big bonus for us. He's one of our most consistent players over the years. He's been here, and some fantastic play and goals, and well deserved win, which is nice. It seemed to get rid of a cloud that was hanging over us a little bit, even though we've only lost 1 in 7 in the league. It was, a much needed win, and I think the boys thoroughly deserved it.
Do you target games like that? Obviously, Forest Green and Morecambe recently as well, and Cheltenham coming up. They're teams who are sort of down that end of the table as games that you should be getting points from. Or, as we've discussed before, this division doesn't seem to quite work like that. Yeah,
no chance. No, I wouldn't target any team. The game coming up this weekend as well. People will say, "Oh, Cheltenham, they've had a dodgy start to the season," but there's no way that they've beat some good teams. They've got they've got a great point on Saturday away, and so that they're a solid team. There's no way we'll be taking any game lightly, whether it be top or bottom of the league. Obviously you seem to get up for top of the league more than you do for bottom of the league. Some people do, and it's my job to make sure everyone's motivated for equally for all games. And so there's no targeting any games. We wouldn't say. I think you set yourself up to fall down if you start saying we should get this and we should get that from these games, because if you don't, it can be a little bit of a downer. So we target the 46 games and see how many points we can get, but it's going well at the moment, and I think we're sitting in a nice position, very under the radar. Nobody's even mentioned us or talking about us, which is great, and hopefully we can sneak up and surprise a few in front of us.
As you say, it must feel like things are starting to come together now. Just 3 points outside the playoffs once again, and as you say, only 1 defeat in 7.
Yeah, we were. I think we dropped 7 or 10 points off the playoffs last season at a crucial stage, and people were doom and gloom then, and we still made the playoffs. So to be 3 points away from this at this stage of the season, I think's great. If we can pick something up from Cheltenham on Saturday, we're going to then a break because we've got no FA Cup. Obviously, we're going to break for 2 weeks with watching everyone else's FA Cup exploits, and then I'm sure 1 or 2 teams will catch games on us. So it's an important one, to get something from. We really, really want to go there and win the game, but not getting beat is key. We've got to make sure that we are solid, and we're working hard. There's no way we can rest on any laurels of Forest Green result. We've got to make sure we push forward now, and because we have got this 2-week break before Portsmouth at home, and that'll be a huge game to if we can manage to pick up any points from Cheltenham Saturday. It makes Portsmouth an even bigger game because we come coming closer to them.
Does it feel like that break's come at a good time, or again, is there no such thing really?
No, it probably is a good time. We've had a lot of Saturday Tuesdays, and this little 2 Saturdays in a row is great. Probably with the break, I'll give them some days off next week, I'm sure, and get the rest and recovery in the legs. Because, like I say, we've got a huge December coming up, and some big games. Look at the fixtures coming up December, January. They look very tasty, and we've obviously got the Christmas program to get through as well. So yeah, the more sort of physical rest and mental rest we can get into the boys at the right times, the better sometimes. But they'll be all up for it on Saturday, believe me. We've got 2 solid days of training now, even though the rain seems to have tried to scupper that. We'll find a way to get through that and be ready for Cheltenham on Saturday.
And Jasper going out on loan this week, obviously a great opportunity for him to get more minutes.
He's a fantastic player, he really is, and I think that he will be one for the future here, without a shadow of doubt. He's played men's football with Worthing. He's stepping up levels now to play in the conference, which is really good for him. And Dorkins, it's a club that's going places, so he's going to get some valuable experience. And I'll be watching Jasper closely because I think he's got a real chance, and hopefully we can integrate him into the squad at the right time, and he becomes a solid Wycombe player, one of the success stories again from the development squad.
And TJ and Sally away on international duty again, another real source of pride for you.
Yeah, both doing well, and I managed to get a few clips of TJ especially, and he was running right, almost leading the line against Liechtenstein. So I'm really, really proud of them both. It's good to have internationals in the squad. We haven't had it for years gone by. It's nice to have these call-ups. They can disrupt a little bit, and obviously Sol's going to be away, but no, really, really good to represent your country is the ultimate, and both very proud, and make me very proud. I'm sure make Wycombe very proud.
I'm really great this week that you've been able to share some of your leadership knowledge with the Buckinghamshire Healthcare NHS Trust staff as well, and the foundation too, and really great opportunity for both yourself and them as well to kind of take things from what you do, and similarly to share how important they've been in the pandemic as well.
Yeah, there's a mutual benefit on this, believe me, Colin. You know, I get plenty out of it as much as they do as well. You know, I can talk about what I do, but you know, just chatting to people and obviously, I always say there's a in this country there's a little bit of a perspective avoidance at times, and it's really important that you realise perspective. You know what's out there, you know what's out in the real world, and you're not in this football bubble all the time. And so to be able to share these bits with fantastic people, you know, big respect for the NHS and the emergency services, as well as the armed forces. Everyone knows that these people allow us to sleep safely at night, and if you strip it all back, that's really what they do. And so we must give back as much as take from them. And we had some real good chats, and the foundation coming in as well. It's great to educate. Hopefully, some of the younger coaches coming through, taking some of our young community programs, and if they can get an insight into what I do. I'm not saying I've cracked it, but I've got a lot of games under my belt now, and we can again share little stories, share little training tips, and hopefully it's beneficial all around.
And obviously the culture that you've built at the club as well, you know, fantastic to be able to apply that in other situations too. Yeah,
and that's big. You know, the mental side is always going to be the biggest side for me that we have to take care of. We work on, you know, physical and technical and tactical. All the boys, you know, coming through all these academies and youth programs now, they've all got that, but the mental side still needs a hell of a lot of work. And at Wycombe, we try and do our best to recognise anyone with any mental issues, or keeping them strong mentally, so if they do come up, they can deal with them. You know, so it's an important part of the job, and I say really proud to be at the helm of it all.
And I know as well a great community initiative that One Can Trust that you'll be at next week as well. Again, I'm sure you're very pleased to be able to support something like that.
Yeah, I've been an ambassador for a while now, but never gone down there really and seen the shop floor and the workers and the volunteers, and you know, I'm a little bit embarrassed I haven't been down in my time has been very precious. But again, these guys volunteer; their time's precious. So apologies I haven't been down earlier, but I'm looking forward to going down and seeing all the team down there. It was an initiative back in COVID, really, where I wanted to get my name involved. Just to maybe boost the knowledge that it's there, and I'm, you know, if that's affected one person, it's been worth it. But I really want to go down and play my part and see and hopefully give some inspiration or motivation, because I know I'll be getting that from them about exactly what a fantastic job they're doing, especially in the times we're living in now, the inflation, the energy crisis, and the various uncertainties around the world. These little initiatives are absolutely vital, and many families rely on them. So can't thank them enough. I'm very proud to be involved with the One Can Trust.
And just finally, with the World Cup coming up, do you watch these games as a fan, or as a manager, and a coach, or sort of a combination?
Bit of a combination, Colin. Yeah, it is switch off time sometimes when we're on, but I'll be watching it with my boy Kane. He's looking forward to it. He probably remembers 2018, but this will be one where his teenage years are kicking in. You know, he's 15 now, and you know, so this will be a big World Cup for him. So I think as a fan and as in getting some entertainment from the world's best football teams will be nice sat next to him. But I can't help saying that I'll be probably looking at a few tactics and a few little routines that teams are doing and taking note. But on the whole, really looking forward to Sunday, and we'll both be watching that Qatar-Ecuador opening match. It'd be a fantastic occasion, and one that hopefully the whole country can embrace.